Thank you, Council President. I want to also thank you for co-sponsoring this legislation and co-leading this legislation, excuse me. And I want to thank my colleagues, Council Members Reamer and Tucker and Albornoz for also co-sponsoring the legislation. Some people have asked me why we introduced this legislation and don't quite understand why we're talking about hair in 2019. Well, the fact is that hair discrimination is an offshoot of racial discrimination and prejudice that we are all committed to exposing and eradicating. I also want to take this opportunity to thank the Council President for her leadership on our racial equity work in the bill that was introduced last week. But there's also a very personal reason that I'm introducing this bill today. Hearing my littlest daughter, 5 years old, ask me why her hair isn't straight like the other little girls at school, and saying that she thought it would be better if it was. The goal of Bill 3019, the Crown Act, is to ultimately end race-based discrimination based on hair and eradicate the notion that professional and appropriate hairstyles are coded to only really mean white standards of grooming and beauty. Here in Montgomery County, we are proud to stand up and protect people who would be discriminated against because of their hairstyle, because it doesn't conform to these narrow standards. Those are standards that are unfairly and unjustly applied at the workplace, and these standards are applied at a very early age, in the classroom, through what kids see and hear on TV, and dress codes, and with coded language, like clean and neat. This includes men as well as women. It covers everything from locks, braids, bantu knots, fades, afros, twists, rust-colored fros, you name it. In communities of color, hairstyle is inherently connected to racial identity. And we have seen discrimination arise because of the connection of identity with people of color in their hair. And these outdated standards have been unfairly and unjustly used as a weapon to discriminate against people of color. That must end. And it will end here in Montgomery County with the passage of the Crown Act. This bill defines what hair types are covered under the definition of protected hairstyles in Section 27-6 of the Human Rights and Civil Liberties of our Code. It will prohibit discrimination based on certain natural hairstyles and amend the county's laws regarding discrimination. In short, that means anyone who feels discriminated against because of their hairstyle has the ability to file a civil lawsuit and seek action through the county's Office of Civil Rights. That means no matter where the discrimination occurs, at the job site, in a taxi, applying for accommodations, you have the right to be protected against discrimination based on your appearance. This is intensely personal, as I've mentioned, as I'm sure it is for many of my colleagues, and I know it is for my co-lead sponsor. It means that my 3 little girls, my beautiful wife, all of whom have natural hairstyles as of today, and my son, if he wants to rock a fro or cornrows like I did when I was 19, are assured, I'm going to try to find a picture too, but I don't know, are assured the protection that they will not suffer discrimination in hiring or other practices simply because of their hair, their beautiful, braided, twisted, natural hair. Their hair is beautiful, and it's part of their identity as Americans, and with every right due to them. Wearing your natural hair shouldn't have to be a revolutionary act, but for people of color who are often asked to conform to a standard that does not recognize their intrinsic value and sees their humanity, it often is. Societal norms and corporate grooming policies unfairly impact people of color, particularly women. There are more than 200,000 Black and Hispanic women and girls here in Montgomery County. In this community, we often talk about our great diversity and we embrace it, and we know that it has a positive impact on our culture and our economy. So this is a great step today that we can make sure that we are true to our founding creed here in Montgomery County. Similar bills have passed at the state level in California and New York, and other bills have been introduced in Wisconsin, Kentucky, New Jersey, and Illinois, among other states. Montgomery County today will become the first local jurisdiction to introduce such legislation. And I'm hopeful that these bills will pass in other states and jurisdictions because we often do lead here in Montgomery County. So let's stand up and pass the Crown Act. Let's do it for our daughters and our sons so that they can live out their own best selves. No shaming, no conforming, just perfectly, divinely created selves. Thank you very much.